Thanks for joining us here at Rose Quartz Mediumship Podcast, where we simply adore anything and everything healing and metaphysically based. I want to tell you a story about a woman who is in our Somatic Certification Training currently. And I want to just state that she gave permission for me to tell this story. And I think it's a really impactful story, and one that I think so many of us may need to hear. This individual who is in our Somatic Certification Training just recently lost her sister. And that's kind of an unthinkable experience, something that none of us want to imagine. And right after she had lost her sister, within a couple of days, I got this really, really beautiful email from her. And the title of it was Gratitude for the Somatic Training. And in the email, she talks about how she had just lost her sister. And while her sister had been sick, this was an unexpected loss, and that she was on hospice for a very, very short period of time. And that the loss had been really sudden for her and for their family. And she was taking the time to email me when her sister had just transitioned the day before. And she took the time to email me because she felt that the experience that she was having was so profound that she wanted to share her gratitude with taking the course. And I was completely floored by that. I can only imagine the energy that she was sitting in the 24, 48 hours after the loss of her sister. And for her to take time out of that very important time in her life to email me landed in such a profound way in my heart. And the reason that she wanted to email was because the content that she was learning in the Somatic Certification Training allowed her to be present with her sister during the transition and with herself during her sister's transition. And that was an experience that she didn't think that she was going to be able to be present with the volume and magnitude of the emotion connected to that experience. And in the email, she talked about how profoundly grateful she was that she was able to be present, not just with her sister for the transitioning period, but with herself, so that she wasn't disassociating, so that she wasn't freezing, but she was able to actually feel her feelings. She was able to stay in the present moment with the experience that was happening. Obviously, that is such a profoundly painful experience. But the fact that she was able to be present, fully present with her sister, so that she didn't miss a moment of her sister's life as her sister got ready to transition, was so amazing, so amazing. She gave herself and her sister such a beautiful gift, the gift of presence. And I think that it is one of the best gifts that we can give ourselves and other people in our reality, especially our loved ones, is the gift of presence. And she felt the magnitude of that, the magnitude of being able to be present with her sister and to be able to be present with herself and with all of the emotions that she was feeling. And rather than stuffing them down or disassociating from them, to only have to go back and process them later, she was able to stay present with her own emotions, to feel her emotions inside of her body and process them in real time. And that is not saying that this experience wasn't traumatic and wasn't profound for her. But the fact that she was able to be present with her sister and herself is so beautiful. And it was such an impactful experience for her that she took time out of that acute mourning phase to write me an email. And it was one of the most impactful emails that I've ever gotten. Because the moment that we lose someone who we love that deeply is such an intense moment. And for her to be able to be present with that, with the experience, with her sister, with herself, was so profoundly beautiful to me. And I think that this is a really beautiful example of why everyone should understand how to work with their own nervous system. Because we are all going to go through trauma. We are all going to go through experiences that could be so overwhelming that we would disassociate from them, and then regret that we weren't able to be present. And because of the tools and skills that she was learning in the Somatic Certification Training, she was able to be present. And I'm a huge believer that all of us deserve to be present. And when you actually understand how your nervous system works, and you actually know how to work with your nervous system rather than against your nervous system, it gives you the ability to be present. And when you are able to go back and feel some of the feelings that were too overwhelming in the moment that you experienced them early in your life, and you're able to purge that trauma out of your nervous system and bring yourself deeply into presence, it is a life-changing experience. When I leaned into somatics, I found myself in a way that I'd never found myself before. I had found a version of me that I didn't even know existed. And it was so life-changing that I made the commitment to somatics being an enormous part of my reality. And I have watched person after person, whether they're going through the Somatic Certification Training, whether they are doing one-on-one coaching, whether they're in one of our other trainings, I have watched person after person after person have rapid and profound healing from understanding how to work with their nervous system. And I think that this example is one that's important to talk about, because I think that we all deserve to be present in our life, and certainly deserve to be present with our loved ones in moments that we will never get back. Whether it's a wedding, whether it is a death, whether it's a new job or the birth of a baby. We have big, profound experiences in our life, and we deserve to be present with all of them, with those experiences that will only happen once. We won't get that moment back again. And what a gift it is to be able to be fully present with those moments. With every moment. We deserve to be able to be present in our reality, in our life. And when we are, life gets so profoundly magical. And so I wanted to take a moment and share that experience, because I think that it's worth talking about. I think that it is worth really asking ourselves, do I want to understand myself and my nervous system deeply enough to be present in my reality? Is that a gift that I'm willing to give myself? And you don't have to do the Somatic Certification Training with me, but I just want to invite you to find a deeper understanding of your nervous system in whatever way that looks for you. Whether it's reading a book, whether it's taking somebody's Somatic Certification Training, whether it is about podcasts. There are so many ways for you to absorb the information about how to work with your nervous system and how to work with trauma and how to work with trauma that is held in your nervous system so that you're able to be present in your reality. And I would love for you to lean into our community, but I'm not attached to wherever it is that you want to lean into: a book, a podcast, a certification training. But give yourself the gift of understanding how your nervous system works and how to work with it rather than against it. Because when you do that, when you give yourself that gift, you are giving yourself a gift of moments that you don't even know that you need to be able to be present for. We don't know when these profound experiences are going to happen. Some of them sneak up on us. Other ones we have pre-planned for years. But as we move through the human experience, there are going to be moments that it is so important for us to be able to be fully present for. And we all deserve the right to be fully present with our life, because we're not going to get it back. And I'm a huge believer that the life that you're living, it's not a dress rehearsal. It's not a dress rehearsal. And I think that somatics is one of the most profound ways to come into presence and to make sure that you are not missing this beautiful life, even the painful parts of it, that you're not missing them. I hope that you are having a beautiful morning, day, evening, or night, wherever it is that this podcast is reaching you.